Shrestha Shachiputram Katra Surupam Rupam Tasyakrajamui Purim Umachurim Goshvakim Radha Kundagivaram Radhikavarvastam Prapto Yasapatita Kipaya Sri Guru Tam Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadare Krishna Krishna Bhaktaya Bhaktaya Namo Anandarilamaya Vigrahaya Hemabhadvyacchavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahapremarasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Bhaktya Vinita Aparana Lakshe Jyotastakam Shikar Smahas Murli Manada Radhikaras Kamama Kripanidhe Supirchara King Karim Kuru Tavaivasmi Najivami Tayavana Divikaya Devi Tam Namam Chanatakam. First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers, thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadeva Paramarada Tuma Guru Pada Padma, Nityalila Pravisht Om Vishnupada Shtotara Sudasvi, Rupanugacharya Varya, Sila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the small Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Vancha Kalpatarubhasa, Pasam Dubelta, Vitanam Adityo Vaishnavyo Namo. By the causes Master Sri Guru Varanga, we have been discussing now for the fourth day the glories of Sri Harinam. Srila Rupa Goswami Pada, realizing the nectar of the holy name, said Tunde Tandamani Ratin Vitanute Tandavali Abdaye Kana Koda Kadambini Gatayate Kana Abadeve Aspriham Chito Prangana Sangini Vijayate Savindayanam Kritim No Jane Janita Kiat Biramitai Krishne Tivarna Dwai. I don't know how much nectar these two syllables, Krish and Na, have produced. magic nectar. When this name appears, it's dancing on my tongue. He's not saying I am chanting. No, Nam Prabhu is appearing and dancing on my tongue. I am not in control of this. And at that time, then I want millions and millions of tongues. One tongue is not enough to taste how sweet this name is. Then, when the sound of the name goes in my ear, then this is better, have one tongue but 2 ears. This is an improvement. But still, 2 ears are not enough. I want millions and millions of ears. And then, when this name through the ear goes, and then he dances in the courtyard of my heart. That means see Krishna manifests his beautiful sweet form, and he's dancing there, and all my senses become conquered, inert. Then he goes into samadhi. So how much nectar is in this name? So if we are not tasting this nectar, then we should be very worried and very concerned. Why not? Why not? So the reason is 10 types of Nam Aparad. How can one become free from Nam Aparad? Firstly, one should consider them very carefully, each and every one. And then one should try to avoid it very, very carefully, and to lament over past offenses. And then one should petition the holy name. Please forgive me, with many prayers. So for this, our acharyas have written many prayers to the holy name, so that we can petition Nam Prabhu to give mercy to us. So Sri Rupa Goswami Pad, Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale, he is the person who established the mission to fulfill the innermost heart desires of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this world. Ridi Yasya Pranavaraka Rupopi Tasya Parakamalam Pandite Chaitanya Devasya. Rupa Goswami Pad said, what I am writing is not my writing, but I bow down to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And though I am insignificant and unqualified, and I am not eloquent, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Hridaya Sya Praranaya, he has inspired this into my heart. So Srila Rupa Goswami Pad has manifested his Sri Krishna Namastakam, 8 verses, praying and glorifying Sri Harinam Prabhu. So we want to discuss this prayer of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad this evening. Actually, if you have, you can put it on the screen. So we touched on some of the points from this because they were just rising spontaneously during the other lectures. So in the first verse, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad is saying, Nikila Sruti Moli Ratnamala Juti Nirajita Tava Pankajanta Ai Muktakula Upasmanam Partastvam Harinama Sangsrayami. Nikila Sruti Mauli. It means, Nikila means all. Sruti means the Vedas. And Mauli means the crushed jewels. That means the mantras of the Upanishads, which have the highest knowledge of the Vedas are there. So they are like jewels. And they have come together in a mala, like a jeweled garland. And there is a light of transcendental knowledge emanating from those jewels of the Upanishads. And by that light, they are worshipping, offering arti to the Tava Pankajanta. Pada means foot, Panka means lotus, and Ja means born. What is born from the lotus foot? That means the toenails. Toenails are growing. So the light emanating from the highest jewels of the Vedas are in a garland, and by their effulgence they are doing puja to the tips of the toenails of Harinam. So the meaning is, Abhinatvam Nama Namino. This name is Krishna himself. Mauli, the word Mauli can also mean chief. So the chief of the Vedas, that means the Vedas have 2 forms. They have Devarup and the Shabdarup, form of sound of the Vedas, and Devarup, they have personified forms. So you can see in chapter 87 of the 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, Shruti Stuti, the prayers of the Vedas personified. So it means those personified forms of the Vedas, they're worshipping the tips of the toes of Harinam. Why? Nibrita maron manoksya dita yoga yujor diyan. Munaya pasritad aryopi yayos maranat. Staya uragenda boga bujidanda visaktadiya. Vayama pichasama samadrisangri saroja suddha. You can see in the Shruti Stuti, prayers of the Vedas, they say, oh, there are many tapasvis, yogis and jnanis, and they do hard austerities to control their senses, their mind and their pran. And by this, gradually, it may be possible, in some rare cases, if there's also a touch of bhakti, then they may get mukti, liberation. Because jnana and yoga, they are lame. They have no potency unless at least a touch of bhakti is there. So those persons, they may get mukti, liberation, impersonal liberation, suja mukti. But munayopi arayos maranat, the enemies of Krishna, they also get that same liberation. So what's the use of all that sadhana? They're wasting their time. Why are they dedicating their life with very hard austerities to get something that demons who hate Krishna get also? Liberation. So the Vedas are saying, we never recommend these things. Why do you think this is recommended in the Vedas? Jnana, karma, yoga, tapasya, pranayama, all these things. No, we're not recommending these things. The Shrutis, the Nikila Mola, the crest jewels of the Vedas, Upanishads, we're not recommending these things. I mean, what are you recommending? Stya Rugenda Boga Bhujadanda Visaktadhya. They are in transcendental Vrindavan, they are gopis. And those gopis, they're always remembering the snake-like arms of Sri Krishna. Krishna's arms. Why are they saying Bhujadanda Visakta? The gopis' minds are attached to the snake-like arms of Sri Krishna. Why? Because the snake is quite thick and then gradually becomes tapering, like this. And very smooth and round. So Krishna's arms are long and very smooth and round, not like biceps, triceps and veins popping out everywhere. Like this. Very, very smooth and beautiful. Look, Radharaman. Oh, you can't see his arms.
But isn't he the strongest person?
Yeah, of course. So his arms are very smooth and also very cool. And also, no one actually makes a plan to be embraced by a snake. The snake is just hanging in the tree and no one sees him, and then some person who is walking along and then unwittingly they walk beneath that branch of that tree and the python drops down and grabs them. And then that person is fighting, stop. But they cannot win and the snake overpowers them. So this is why gopis think Krishna's arms are like snakes. But deliberately they say, I'm just going to fetch water, and they go to the forest with the pot and they're hoping that Krishna by surprise will jump out and catch them. And then they'll say, no, masprisha, masprisha. You know, masprisha means don't touch. So they say, masprisha, that means don't touch. So all the Vedas, they said, vayam mapicha samasama drishangri saroja suddha, that we have attained the perfection of our life by absorbing our minds, following in the moods of the gopis of Vrindavan. Samadrisha, seeing in the same way means to be in the anugatya of Braja gopis. So the Vedas personified by chanting and remembering and following in the footsteps of Braja gopis, they attained gopi swarups and they went to the Rasa Lila. So, Ayi Muktakula Upasyamanam, O Nam Prabhu. All the great liberated souls, they constantly, the Muktakul, don't think that you chant Harinam here and then when you're liberated you don't do this. Harinam is sadhya and sadhana, practice and the goal as well. Sadhya Mahaprabhu told, Sadhya sadhana tattva jai kichus sakal, Harinama sankirtane nilibe sakal. Whatever is there, whatever tattvas, whatever truths are there about sadhana and about sadhya as well, All of these are together in Harinam Sankirtan. Gopis themselves are singing the names of Krishna in Rasa Leela. So everything is there in Harinam Sankirtan. Up to the not up to liberation and beyond, forever. Duti Nidra Jita Tavapan Kajanta. One very interesting thing about offering arti. You know, when you offer arti, then when you afterwards, then you take the wicks and you throw them away. So those Vedas personified, they had forms as Vedas personified, but they left this and took Gopi Swarups to serve Krishna. But they upasyamana, but still they continued with kirtan. So then a question arises. Oh, sorry. Partastvam Harinama Sangsrayami. So, oh Harinam, not Ashrayami, Sangsrayami. I take complete shelter of you. Not Ashrayami, Sangsrayami, complete shelter. That means that my whole life is dedicated only to serving you. He reasons ill that say that Vaishnavas die when thou art living still in sound. A Vaishnava dies to live, and living tries to spread the holy name around. So you can see the example of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He said, Nadiya Nadiya Kotru Be Nityananda Mahajan Patyache Namahate Jivera Karan. Nityananda was opened the marketplace of the holy name in Surabhi Kunj, in Godrum Dweep. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, what is my position? I am just a sweeper in the marketplace of the holy name. That means that when the living entities, they try to understand spiritual life, then Kali Kalabalina Indriya Vairi Vaga, Sri Bhakti, Marga, Kanta Viruddha, Kanta Kakoti Ruddha. The path of bhakti in this age of Kali is covered with so many thorns. Sri Bhakti Mara, here Kanta Kakoti Ruddha. So when a person tries to enter spiritual life, many problems come. Sometimes devotees may wonder, before I was a devotee, it wasn't so bad, and then I became a devotee, now I have so many problems. Things that I didn't have to deal with before. So sometimes it's like that. Many thorns have come in Kali Yuga on this path of bhakti. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, I am a sweeper in the marketplace of the holy name. That means I am, by my teachings and by my followers, those who are in the Vinod Dhara, sweeping and removing the thorns from the path so that everyone can very smoothly and comfortably enter into the marketplace of the holy name. So many thorns. Sahajabad, Sahajamud, Sakibeki, all the different apasampradayas. Aula Baul Goranga, Aula Baula, Nada, Dadavesha Sai, Sahaja Sakibeti, Jat Gosai, Atibari Churidari, Goranga Nagari, Totakari A, Terasangi Nahi, Kari. Never associate with 13 types of apasampradayas, the Aul, the Baul, the Neda, the Dadavesha, all these Sahaja Sakibeki and so on. They cover the path of bhakti with thorns. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, I am the sweeper in the marketplace of the holy name, removing the thorns. And our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav, he prayed, when will I become one straw in the broom of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur? So this is the meaning. Harinama Sangsrayami. To take complete shelter of the holy name is not only to chant the holy name when you are chanting japa and doing Harinam Sankirtan, but in the time which is left over, completely dedicate your life to the Namahata, making programs in people's homes everywhere. Now one may say, this name is so wonderful and beautiful, but I am so sinful, how can I attain it? So to answer this question, Rupa Goswami Pad gave the second verse. Jai nama deya muni brindageya janaranjanaya paramakshrakate tomanatarak apimanagaditam nikalograta papatalim vilumpasi. Jai Nam, oh glories to Nam Prabhu. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his commentary on this, he says it means, Jainam means, in this whole world you are my only friend. Jainamadaya Muni Brandagaya, all the Munis, the great sages, those who do manan, that means who are absorbed in meditation on the Astakali Leela of Radha and Krishna. Lord Shiva, Shukadeva Goswami, and more. Rupa Goswami himself, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Vishwanath Thakur, all the great persons who are absorbed in meditation. How do they meditate? They sing the holy name and their meditation comes automatically. Muni Brindagaya. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there it is said that Srila Vishwanath Thakur, he writes, Smarna prayatnaha Shravana kirtanavato bhaktasya navasyaka. For the devotee who is engaged in kirtan, Shravana and kirtan, hearing and chanting, then he does not have to make any effort at all to do smaran. Smarana prayatnaha means the effort to do smaran. Shravana kirtanavato bhaktasya. For the devotee who is absorbed in hearing and chanting, navasyaka, not necessary. Directly he wrote this. In his commentary on one verse, what is it? Srimitam sadada nityam granantasya chachastitam dirgena natikalena vishate bhagavan hari. See, Shukadeva Goswami Pad says, for those who are engaged in hearing and chanting, when taking it very seriously, then the Supreme Lord enters into that person's heart. You see? So those who are taking this hearing and chanting very seriously, making it their whole life, whose whole life is worshipping every word coming from the lips of Gurudev, and chanting, remembering all these things, then for that person, Krishna just comes and manifests in their heart, and that's smarana. That's remembrance. Real hearing is darshan. If you're not seeing, you're not hearing. Real kirtan is darshan. If you're not seeing Krishna, you have not done kirtan yet. And smaran is darshan also. So smarana prayatna shravana kirtanavato bhaktasya navasyaka. So Muni Brindagaya, the Munis who have they are Munis, they do manan, they're absorbed in meditation. But how are they meditating? Brindagaya, by singing the holy names. Janaranjana paramaksharakate. Oh, you have appeared to give joy to your devotees. Even if Namabas will begin to come, then Sri Krishna will begin to reveal his beauty and sweetness. We discussed that on the second day. Do you remember the verse that the Vishnu Doots told the Yamadoots? Na niskrita udita brahmavadivi tata vishuryatagavan bratarivi yata hare nama padair udaritais tad uttama shloka gunopalambakam. The Vishnu Doots said to the Yamadoots, if someone will just utter the name, even not with proper concentration, even not the whole name, just a part of it, then if there's no offense, they will have done atonement for all kinds of sins forever. And tad uttama shloka gunopalambakam, the qualities, the qualities of Krishna will manifest in their heart. Krishna Thakur in the commentary says specifically, Krishna's gun, his attributes, his aishwarya, his opulence and powers, and his madhurya, his sweetness. And they will rise because of the gradual appearance of prema. Love is coming. So Janaranjanaya, Nam is giving so much pleasure to those who are chanting. Paramaksharakate. What is the form of this Nam? Akshar. Syllables. Hare Krishna. Don't make it complicated. Rupa Goswami Pad is saying that the holy name is appeared in the form of syllables. Some persons sometimes Harinam Nikalpanam, they give some imaginary interpretation of the name. Well, it's not exactly the name, but it's something inside the name or something like this. No, Paramakshara Akrite. It is the syllables. Krishna has taken Akshara, Akrita, Akar. Akar means form. So Akrite means you have taken the form of Akshara, syllables. Hare Krishna. We just told the verse of Rupa Goswami, I don't know how much nectar is in these two syllables. Krishna. So then Rupa Goswami is saying, even if a person, he says this name, anadar, without any faith, without any honor at all, apimanaga means even just a little bit, or one time, udiritami atasis, then nikilagra tapa patalim vilumpasi. Nikal means all, ugratapa, terrible sufferings. Patalim means a great abundance. So a great abundance of terrifying sufferings. That vilumpasi, O Nam Prabhu, you destroy them all. So the first touch of Harinam, first touch of Namabas, it destroys all your karma, past, present and future. But that may not be aware to the person at that time. And all the subtleties of that, remember we discussed the various nuances of that on the second day. In the commentary, Baldev Dibhushan and Prabhu and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they define this Ugratapa Patali, the abundance, the mountain of the ferocious suffering. They describe that as all kinds of suffering up to and including the Linga Sharir, your subtle body. Because the subtle body is the cause of all of our sufferings. Having this body is not the cause of suffering. The problem is the subtle body. My intelligence, ego and chitta is contaminated, and all types of impressions from many, many lifetimes are stored there. And those impressions are causing us to engage in various types of worldly activities and entangling us again and again. So for the devotee who is chanting, then his subtle body, here, Vilumpasi, O Nam Prabhu, you destroy the subtle body of your devotee. And then though the devotee is still in this world, he has no suffering. And in Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary says, Linga Banga Vai Anayase, without any effort. It's a very easy Nam, without any effort, Linga Bang. That means your ling, the subtle body, finished. Then there's no more suffering at all. Now, in the third verse, very beautiful. And the commentaries are all wonderful on this verse. The third verse, someone may say, so is that the limit of the benefit of Nam Abbas? Rupa Goswami says, no, there's more. Nam Abbas is even more glorious. But what I want to tell you is something which is avichintya. It is not achintya, it's avichintya. Not only inconceivable, it is excessively, especially and intensely inconceivable that even very, very learned scholars, they cannot guess, they cannot understand, they cannot imagine what I am about to say. So Rupa Goswami is saying, Yada baso kavalita bhavadvanta vibhavo dasham tattvandanam apidishti bhakti pranainim janastasyodatam jagati bhagavan nama taranekati te nirvakta kaya mahimanam prabhavati. Kriti, in the last line, Kriti, it means pandits, scholars, Vigya, very, very learned persons. Nirvaktam kahya, which scholars in this world are capable of nirvaktam, that is, articulating Mahimanam, your glories. Which great scholars are capable of articulating your glories? It's a rhetorical question, it means none. There aren't any. Unless and until they receive Upadesh, instruction from a Nam Tattvavit Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is Nam Tattvavit, who knows the mysteries and the glories of the holy name. Unless they will give Upadesh, instruction, then even a great scholar, he cannot imagine what is the nature of Nam Prabhu. So why is that? Yadabaso Pilvanka Balita. When the devotee chants Nam Abhas, then it is just as before the sun rises, some rays come and dispel the darkness. So in the same way, only the rays of Nam Abhas dispel the darkness of Dehatma Buddhi, identification with the material body, remove all ignorance, and Drisham Tatvandanam Apidishati Bhakti Pranainim. Tatvandanam means of those persons who are Tattva Anda. They are blind to the Tattvas. They don't know Jiva Tattva, Krishna Tattva, Maya Tattva, Nam Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Leela Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Radha Tattva, Krishna Tattva, Prem Vilas Vivarta Tattva. All these Tattvas they don't know. So they are Tattvandanam. So for those persons, then Drisham Tattvandanam. This Namabhas, Drisham means Pragyam, Prakrista Rupain Gyan, excellent knowledge. Namabhas will give Pragyam. Api Dishayati, Dishayati here means Arpayati. This Namabhas will offer Pragya, excellent knowledge of what? Bhakti Pranainim. Bhakti Pranainim means Krishna Bhakti Vishayam. Of the subject, all the tattvas of Krishna Bhakti will be revealed by this. So, in the verse of Mahaprabhu, first verse, Chaito Dapana Majanam, this is the stage of Anatta Nivritti. Sadhu Sangha and Anatta Nivritti. The chitta becomes cleansed. Then, Bhava Mahadavatni Nirvapanam. Material existence, that fire is extinguished. That is Nishta. Because when the Anarthas are cleared and Nishta comes, now you have the Ekagrata Chitta, one-pointed Chitta. Do you know what Chitta is? Raise your hand if you know what Chitta is.
I have some.
Yes, what is Chitta?
Mental phenomenon.
Okay. Anyone else?
What did you say?
Mental phenomenon.
I thought it was the most subtle covering of the soul.
Yes.
The mirror of their mind.
Anyone else?
The mirror of the mind, I've heard.
It's where all the samskaras are.
This is very, very important to understand. Very, very important. When before the universe is created, then in Prakriti there's equilibrium. Three modes are in equilibrium. So nothing is manifest. So when, by the glance of the Supreme Lord, by his Kriya Shakti, the equilibrium of Prakriti is broken, then the first element that comes out is very bright, very light, very subtle. And it is very sattvic, as sattvic as things can be in this world. And that element is called Mahatattva. Right? Mahatattva. Then Rajas appears more. And the Mahatattva, which is very light, and it's also Niskriya, it doesn't have any activities. It kind of condenses by the touch of Rajagun, and now has Kriya, movement. Just like the vapor can condense and become water and then flow. So that element is called Sutra Tattva. Sutra Tattva. Then, this Sutra Tattva, it moves and it takes on shapes, it solidifies. Just like vapor can become liquid, and then the liquid can solidify in a shape. So then, those solidified shapes in the chitta, that's because they become solid, they become more gross because of tamagun now in the Mahatattva. So those solidified shapes that is the element of ego, ahankara. So all the elements of the universe are present in us to a small degree. So in our subtle body, what is there? The ego has the portions, the slightly more sattvic portion of ego, which itself is a transformation of tamas, is called the mind. And the rajasic portion is called buddhi. And from the tamasic portion comes a shabda, and from shabda space, and then all the gross elements. So our body is made, this is the gradual condensation or the gradual grossification of prakriti. Yeah? Understand? It's clear? So in your subtle body, all those elements there. So the first element, the Mahatattva, that portion of the Mahatattva which is very bright, which is very light, which is very shining, which is niskriya, has no movement in it because it's not rajasic. That portion of the Mahatattva in your subtle body is called Chitta. Now you know what Chitta is. And then when that condenses, and that Sutra Tattva, which is the Kriya Shakti of the Lord, movement in the universe, which is the organizational principle behind everything, that in your body is called Prana. That is Prana. It's the organizational principle. That's why you can't bring a dead body back to life. Because you can't get all the cells to be organized and work together as one unit. Because the Prana is gone. You see? So when that Prana is moving in your Chitta, that is called Chitta Vritti, a thought. But because our senses are contacting Tamagun, and the objects of the world are all tamasic, every gross object is the transformation of ego in Tamagun. So because the tamasic elements go into the mind, then they make impressions. So that solidification of the Chitta due to Tamagun is called samskars. And so, those samskars, they're latent in your Chitta, but what happens is, as you're moving around in your daily life, then a sanskar from the ahankar will enter into the mind. And then you think, I want an ice cream. You see? Because there's a samskar of eating ice cream before. Or I want drugs, sex. There may be simple impressions, there may be pious impressions. I want to help poor people, I want to build a hospital, whatever. So all those sanskars are there in the chitta, in the subconscious mind, and the collection of sanskars, when they're collected together in a dense mass, that is your ahankar. So the ego is a vasanamai ahankar. It is made of vasana, the impressions of that manifest in the form of many desires, unlimited desires. So it's very important to know anatomy. In our Chaitanya Academy, this is the first thing we teach everyone on the first day. The first thing you have to know is yourself. What am I doing here? What's going on? Understand the mechanics of what's going on, and then what are we going to do about it? So when Mahaprabhu said Chaito Darpana Marjanam, he means this chitta, which is very bright and light and luminous, has become dirty by the movements of the prana, the rajasic movement of prana, and the tamasic impressions of worldly life. So Nam Prabhu himself is aprakrita prana, supernatural prana. And he comes and becomes one with your prana. When you chant, he takes over your prana and starts moving around and eradicating all the samskars. Harinam is aprakrita prana, supernatural prana. So, but before the Shuddhanam of aprakrita prana appears, there's just the abhas of that supernatural prana that begins to cleanse the mind. And then when the chitta becomes steady, very, very sattvic and niskriya, then it's not dark anymore, and it has a potency to reflect. So you can see, perhaps you've read the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the third canto, Sri Kapil Dev explains very, very precisely the definition of Prakriti, the definition of Mahatattva, Chitta, Sutra Tattva, which is the Mukhya Pran, the original Pran, and the Manas, Buddhi, everything. There's one or two verses on each and every level. So when he's describing the Chitta, he says, Swachatvam, Avikaritvam, Santatvam iti Chaitasa. This Chitta has three characteristics. The first one is Swachatvam. Swachatva means purity, and that Swachata, purity, in the commentaries of Sridhar Swami and others, it's defined as Bhagavad Bimba Grahitva. Bimba means reflection, and Bhagavat means Supreme Lord, Bhagavan. And Grahitva means the power to catch. So when the Chitta becomes nirvikar, it becomes steady, then it has Bhagavad Bimba Grahitva, the power to catch the reflection of the form of Sri Krishna. So that is darshan. That is darshan. So actual chanting without offense, real chanting and hearing, it is a darshan, it is seeing from the beginning. So a person who will chant Namabhas, gradually they'll see the beautiful form of Sri Krishna reflected in their chitta. Then his roop, then gun, parikar, his own swarup, seva and lila in a kram. Tannama rupa charitaris kirtanano svatyo kramena rasana manasi niyojya. And then, in this way, Chaitodarpana Marjanam refers to the Anartha Nibriti. The chitta is becoming free from the influence of these impressions and clear enough. And then Nishta Bhava Mahadavagni Nivarpanam. When the chitta becomes steady, then you don't identify with the body anymore. No worldly desires anymore. You know that you are spiritual and you will never die. And you see the smiling face of Sri Krishna in your heart. This is why in Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Nashta Parayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Seva Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. When the person comes to Nishta, now he becomes situated in irrevocable bhakti. Because really, he knows, he doesn't have a doubt anymore. Is Krishna God, Krishna not God? Maybe all these sadhus are lying. They made it up. Very clever business model. No, then he realized, yes, Krishna is supreme truth. Krishna is my best friend. Krishna is in my heart. And everything else is only smoke and mirrors. So Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki, that is the Bhava Mahadavagni Navapanam, no struggle, no suffering anymore. Then Shayakaya Chandika Bitaranam, the lotus of the night blooming lotus of good fortune opens. That is the stage of Ruchi. And then Vidyavadhu Jivanam, that is the stage of Asakti. Means that all transcendental knowledge is manifested now because you will realize you are a Vadhu. The gopis, Krishna's, Vadhu means newly married bride. So Eita Param Tanubrito Bhuvi Gopa Vadvo Govinda Eva Nikalatma Nirodha Bhava. Uddhavji said, out of everyone in this world who has taken birth, no one is successful. Even Brahma is not successful. The only successful birth is the birth not as a Brahmin, but in a Gopa caste. And not as a male, as a female. And also a female who is married to someone else. That's the best birth that you can have, to be Gopavadhu, a newly married gopi. Because only them, Govinda Eva Nikala Mani Ruddha Bhava, they can attain the Ruddha Bhav, Mahabhav. This highest love, Vanchanti Yad Bhava Vyomani O Vayamcha Kim Brahma Jamabe Ananta Katara Sasya. This love is desired by Mumukshu, those who want liberation. And even those who are liberated, and Vayam, and even by us, Krishna's eternal associates. We want to have such a love, but we cannot. Because we don't have that gopi form. So Kim Brahma Janmabe Ananta Katara Sasya. What's the use of taking birth as a Brahmin? What's the use of even taking birth as Lord Brahma? If you don't have taste in this Qatar of Braja Gopis, because taste, ruchi, taste in the Qatar of Braja Gopis is like a seed that will one day grow and become Ruddha Bhav, Mahabhav. So Vidyavadhu Jivanam means that just as a chaste wife only serves her husband and no one else, so in the same way, this divine knowledge never serves anyone except for Nam Prabhu. Nam is the life and soul of this knowledge. That's the general meaning. And the confidential meaning is that in the stage of Asakti, you become a Vadhu. You get the knowledge that you are Vadhu. Vrishabhanu Pure Janama Loibo Javate Bibahave. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, when will I take birth in Vrishabhanu Purvarsana? And then when I have become of marriageable age, my hand will be given in marriage to a gop in Yavat. Then you are Vadhu. So, these first four flames of the fire of Sankirtan described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this verse, these are all the effects of Nam Abhas. Then Shuddha Nam appears. When Shuddha Nam appears, Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Soyang Susamyabhak. Then you enter into the stage of Bhav. So, this is what Rupa Goswami Pad is writing here. Brahma Sakshat, Yadabaso Pudam Kavalita Bhavadanta Vibhavo, that Namabhas is not limited to destroying sins, but Namabhas also gives the reflection and insight into the spiritual world, and service is there. And gradually, as you become absorbed in that, Sambandha Gyan is darshan. Gurudev used to say, theoretical knowledge is no knowledge. So the first stage of bhakti is called Sambandha Gyan. It's not a theoretical Sambandha, that we know all the tattvas, we can make a chart and fill in all the details. Sambandha Gyan is darshan. Abhideya tattva, the practice is darshan, and the goal is also darshan. But that darshan in the stage of Namabhas is a reflection in the heart. Srila Jiva Goswami has given a very beautiful commentary on the verse spoken by Lord Shiva. Perhaps you know. Lord Shiva was at the Yajna of Daksha. Daksha arrived, everyone stood up to respect him, but Lord Shiva was in a trance, he didn't stand up. And then Daksha Maharaj became angry. Hey, you're my son-in-law, you should have respected me. And he cursed Lord Shiva. Afterwards Lord Shiva explained, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam Yadiyate Yakta Pumana Pavritaha. He said, the stage of Vishuddha Sattva is known as by the name Vasudeva. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam Yadiyate Tatra Pumana Pavrita. In that stage, Puman, the Parampurush, the Supreme Lord, is uncovered. So Jiva Goswami raises this question. If Lord Shiva says, when Vishuddha Sattva appears, which is called Vasudeva, Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam, when this Vishuddha Sattva appears, then the Supreme Lord is experienced apavrita, uncovered. Then what does it, then does that mean you can experience him covered?
Oh.
Yeah? If you say you experience, it seems redundant. You experience the Supreme Lord uncovered. It seems redundant. He says no, it's not redundant. Because prior to the appearance of Bhav, Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, you also experience the Lord. But it is not a direct experience uncovered, it is abhas, a reflection of the Lord in your chitta. You see? So all these people are saying, yes, Raganuga Bhakti, yes, we'll chant. Step 1, get your Swarup, recognize bhavas from someone. Step 2, learn the schedule of the Astakali Lila. Step 3, project yourself mentally into the Lila. This is all bogus. Because in the stage of Ruchi, then you can realize the associates. And then when you realize they're reflected in your heart, then you can follow them. What is the question of Tishtan Brajay Tadanuragi Jananugami, following the associates if you can't see them? Huh? Okay, I'll put a blindfold on you and I'm going to go somewhere, just follow me. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, those persons for whom they have not realized the non-difference between Nam and Nami, who have not realized that Shravan is darshan, Kirtan is darshan, Smaran is darshan, they're not doing bhajan at all. They're like a hunter who goes into the forest at night, shooting arrows here and there, hoping that he'll hit something. That's their bhajan. So, the Shastras describe what we can realize in each stage. So from this we can understand what stage we're in and what our practice should be. What to do, the next level, the next level, the next level. Yeah? And if a person is completely crooked and dishonest and pretending, that they don't admit, actually I don't have any realization. Okay, I'm not realizing it because I chant Nama Parad, but I'm also doing Raganuga Bhakti. Is there such a thing? How to do Raganuga Bhakti while chanting Nama Parad? And if you're not chanting Nama Parad, then Niraparad Nam Lale Prema Upajay. The realization, love starts to rise up in the heart. The darshan comes. Bhakti Parisheno Bhavo Viraktir. Just as you're eating a meal with each bite, you experience some pleasure, satisfaction, and detachment from hunger. So bhakti is an experience. And if the experience is not coming, it's due to Namaparad. There's no such thing as bhajan or Raganuga Bhakti. There's no real experience of Vaidhi Bhakti while the aparads are there. So now Rupa Goswami Pad is saying in the next verse, very beautiful. Yad Brahma Sakshat Kriti Nistyapi Binashamayeti Banana Bhogai Upeti Nama Spranani Tate Prarabdha Karmeti Biroti Beda. does a person who is chanting the holy name have to experience his karma, prarabdha karma? And Rupa Goswami is saying, Viroti Veda, the Vedas are roaring. Viroti means roaring. Loudly the Vedas proclaim that Yad Brahma Sakshat. Here, Baladev Devotion says the word Brahma here means Paramatma. Because Brahma, Atata Brahma Jigyasa, Brahma can mean the supreme truth. And here he says specifically the word Brahma means Paramatma, and Sakshat means direct darshan. So let's say there's a yogi, he did his pranayama, he stopped his breathing and everything, and he went into dhyan and samadhi. And in his samadhi, he's seeing four-arm form of Paramatma in his heart. That's called Brahma Sakshat. Yet Brahma Sakshat kriti nishtayapi. And he has nishta in his vision of Paramatma in the heart. Binashamayeti binana bogai. But still, though he is aprarabdha karma, that's all the karmas from the next life, they're gone. He's burnt them. And even he is the Kutan beach. He is a karma in the form of desires in the heart which haven't manifested. They're also gone. But his prarabdha karma, that arabdha means begun. The word arabdha means begun. So prarabdha is that karma which is already rolling. So basically prarabdha karma means that karma that we're experiencing now from the time we were born to the time we die in this life. That's prarabdha karma. So Binashamayet Binanabogai means even for that yogi who's having direct darshan of Paramatma in his heart, though he got free from all other karma, his prarabdha karma will not be destroyed without tasting it. His prarabdha karma will not be destroyed without tasting. So then the yogis, they have all kinds of tricks to burn off their karma. They have this thing called nirman chitta, where parts of their chitta go and enter into the wombs of various women around the world, and then they are born, and so in many bodies they burn off their karma quickly. So some persons who are born, there's no soul there. It's just one yogi sent a piece of his chitta and he's controlling that body in his meditation and just trying to burn off the karma by having many lives all at the same time.
Are they mostly in Eugene?
Sometimes I think so when they start the kirtan and they all run to hide by the door. Yeah. Mahaprabhu said in Srimad Bhagavatam, it said, Vilajja asangaha, that when you do kirtan you should be vilajja, shameless. Just jump in the middle of the kirtan like a madman and dance and sing at the top of your voice. That's how to do kirtan. If you don't feel like doing this, what is this? Because some namaparad is holding you back. It's the ego. I'm absorbed in myself, what will everyone think? So vilajja, gayan vilajja, vicharen asangaha, forgetting, being detached from everything. And without any shame or shyness, jump in the middle of the kirtan and sing loudly and dance like a madman. This is the sign that this person is not, this is one of the symptoms of a person who does not have namaparat. Of course, sometimes namaparatis who are extroverts, they can pretend. But, so this is not good. But, person really wants to serve Nam, they should not have any shame or shyness during kirtan. How Gurudev used to make us do kirtan. He used to if the kirtan is going on and someone's standing, he would grab them and throw them in the middle of the kirtan. And then he would push them and make them run up and down. You know, in Navadvip, in the temple room, and he would make everyone run up and down in the temple room from side to side with big jumpers. I remember once I came to Brinda Devi's temple in Kamyavan, and we all got off the bus and the kirtan started, but when I was on the bus, I was like halfway through a round. So I got off and I thought, I'll just finish this round, then I'll go in the kirtan. And then I felt someone behind me punch me in the back. Oh, who was that? So I turned around to reciprocate, and it was Gurudev. Oh. And then he grabbed my japamala and then he pushed me with his other hand into the kirtan, like that. And so since that time I've just been in kirtan all the time. I can always feel that push of Gurudev's hand behind me pushing me into the kirtan.
He did the same thing to me too.
There you go. You see, that's what Gurudev, that was his policy.
He told me
to stay with the kirtan devotees up front, Krishna Das and all them.
Yes.
And they were going so fast, after a while I gradually start going backwards, still chanting and everything.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I see all the devotees part. And one figure comes walking. And he goes, that's right, and he just pulls me all the way back up the
See? So it's a special mercy. You can see how Pushpadant was dancing like a madman in the kirtan last night. Why? Because this is Kripa. Vaishnav Kripa. When Vaishnav gives you that push, then you cannot stop. So here, yeah, Brahma Sakshat Kriti Nistayapi Binashnayet Binana Bogai Vaiti Namastakam Tate Pravdakarmeti Biroti Veda. Even that yogi, that person who is in a trance and directly seeing Paramatma, he's free from all karma, but his Parabdha karma, it will not be destroyed without tasting it. But Paiti Namas Pranena Tate Parabdha Karmeti Viroti Veda. As soon as Shuddha Nam appears on the tongue, all Parabdha karma finished. No Parabdha karma at all. This is why Srimad Bhagavatam says, Aho pataswat pachato gariyan yats jivate vakte namatu byamte pustapaste juhuso shastra aya brahmana cho nama grinanti yete. If a dog eater, a chandala, the holy name will appear on the tip of his tongue. That means not even the whole name, just on the tip of your tongue. You know when you say krit, krit, after the tip of the tongue goes like krit. So as soon as the holy name appears on the tip of the tongue, krit, then that dog eater, he becomes qualified to perform yagyas. He has completed his study of the Vedas. He has done all austerities. He has been to all holy places, and he has all 12 Brahminical qualifications. So it doesn't mean that he actually performs yagyas, but what it means is, why is a Brahmin a Brahmin? Because by his Parabdha karma, he has a Brahmin body. Right? In his last life, he did whatever, and by this now he's born in a Brahmin family, has a Brahmin body. Still, he has to become qualified, educated in life to be a real Brahmin. But the dog eater, he is not qualified to do sacrifices. So the verse is not telling us that Sudra, when he chants, he will do the sacrifices. But what it means is that his Chandala, his low-class body of a dog eater, was destroyed the second the holy name came on the tip of his tongue. Shastra is like this. It doesn't explain things directly. It does through dvani, through the power of suggestion. So this is the meaning. So Prabdha Karmeti Biroti Veda, all the Vedas loudly roar that even Prabdha Karma is finished with the first appearance of pure Nam. So then Rupa Goswami Pad's praying, Agadamana Yashodanandano Nandasuno Kamalanayana Gopi Chanda Brindavanindra Pranata Karun Krishna Vyaktaneka Surupe Toyi Mamarati Vartatam Namadeya. O Nam Prabhu, may my rati, my love for you, increase every day. We should watch for this. Is our love for Nam increasing every day or not? Because it's the nature of Nam. That there's one chance, then love comes, and then more love, and then more love. So Rupa Goswami is praying, oh, may this always happen, that my love for you is growing and growing and growing day by day. In your many forms, such as what? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a commentary on this verse. Hari Namatu Aneka Swarupa. That song is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's explanation of this verse. So Rupa Goswami Padi said, your forms Agadamana, Yashoda Nandano Nandasuno, Kamalanayana Gopi Chanda Brindavanindra. You have so many forms, like Agadaman. You chastised Agasur. All the coward boys, they went inside the mouth of Agasur. And from the poisonous fumes, toxic fumes, they fainted. And they were as if dead. But Sri Krishna came there. All the boys were running. And Krishna knew, this is a demon. The boys thought, what is that? It looks like a big cave. Let's go and play in the cave. Woo! And they all went running. Let's play. And then another boy said, look, these mountains, they look like the teeth of a huge snake. And that cave looks like his gaping mouth. And that fishy smell in the wind is his undigested breakfast. His tongue is like a freeway. Then we shouldn't go, it could be a demon. Another boy said, oh, what if it's a demon? Krishna always says that, come on, let's go. And they're all running. And Krishna is just like a little boy. He doesn't know that he's God. He doesn't think he doesn't have faith that he can fight. So Krishna's spreading his arms and trying to stop his friends. One's going this way, one's going that way, one's going to his nest. And they all go, and when they go into the mouth of Aghasur, Krishna's looking and he has tears in his eyes because he feels, I'm going to lose all my friends. So then Jogamaya uncovers him. Ah, you are Bhagavan. You can save them. Really? Wow, that's awesome. And then Krishna, he sets off and climbs over the teeth of Aghasur and runs along his tongue. He goes inside the mouth of Aghasur, and there he sees all of his friends are unconscious as if dead. Then, see Krishna, he began to expand himself in the throat of Aghasur and choked him. And Aghasur, his eyes popped out like rasagullas, and his soul left. And he was liberated. Why? Because he was the brother of Putana. This is why. Because Putana dressed up like a mother of Braj. It reminded Krishna of Mother Yashoda, so he is just full of love, and he sent it to Golok. And he decided, oh, not only you, but all your family members will be liberated. So, for this reason, Aghasur was also liberated, he got Swarupya Mukti. So then, now, one thing is there, that when Sri Krishna killed Putana, he didn't expand himself, he didn't do anything supernatural, he just sucked the breast like an ordinary baby. When Krishna killed Trinavarta, he didn't do anything special, he just held on to his... If you pick up a baby, they go like this onto the neck. He just did this. When he killed Shakatasura, he was just lying on his back, kicking his toes. So he didn't do anything supernatural. So why, when Krishna killed Aghasur, did he do this supernatural feat of expanding himself? Because when Putana took him, his mother was watching. His friends were watching when he was kicking his legs and so on. During these pastimes, Brijvasis were there and they were watching. So he was ashamed to do anything supernatural in front of them. But when he was inside Aghasur and all his friends were unconscious, he thought, okay, my mother's not here, no one will see. So he wasn't embarrassed to do something Bhagavan-like. He's ashamed of being Bhagavan in Vrindavan. He hides it. After he lifted Govardhan hill, he came to the Govardhan, all the devatas were worshipping him and massaging him with oil, and they did puja to him. And when the demigods went, then his friends were looking for him. They went, oh, there he is. And they ran up to him. Krishna, what are you wearing? They could smell the perfume from the devil. Oh, nothing. And he was denying it. He didn't want his friends to know that he's Bhagavan. Because there's no fun in this. Because he's Yashodananda. Agadamana Yashodananda. He's just the son of Yashoda. Lord Narayan can be God. Let everyone worship Narayan. And just the son of Yashoda. So Agadaman. Then, after Aghasur had expired and was liberated, then Krishna, he looked at his friends. And by the nectar of his glance, they were revived. And they came back to sense. Ah, wonderful. What Gargacharya said is true. Anena sarva durgani yuyam anjasturisata. That, pritim kuravanti manava. Anyone who has love for Krishna, they cannot be killed. They will cross over all obstacles by his kindness. So Agadamana, gopis call Krishna Agadaman. Why? Because we have been swallowed by the snake of separation, and we can only be saved by your Kamalanayan, merciful glance. Only that, your merciful glance can bring us back to life. So Agadamana Yashoda Nandano Nandasuno. Oh, you are the son of Nanda Maharaj. That means you are a prince. So a prince is a swachanda. He's free to do what he likes, to go anywhere and do anything. Krishna doesn't have to herd cows. Nanda Maharaj has so many servants who can herd the cows. He only does it, he uses the cows, that's a pretext to go out into the forest so he can meet with the gopis. That's why Krishna does puja, he worships the cows. Oh, thank you so much, you're my ticket. My excuse to go to the forest and meet with Radhika. So, Krishna is Nanda Suno, he's the son of Nanda Maharaj. So because he's a prince, he has no pressure on him, he has no duties on him, he does what he wants. So he's nischintya. He has no anxiety. Radharani said, oh, Krishna is the true object of love. Why? Because he has no anxiety. A person who has anxiety cannot truly love. Because to truly love, you have to be absorbed in that love. And if you've got something nagging, some duties in the back of your mind, like yada yada hidamasya glane bhavati bharata bhutana madamasya tadatmanam sujamyam, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious principles and a rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to establish dharma. So if you have duties like this, all these duties are not done by Krishna, they're done by Vishnu inside. So Krishna is Nanda Suno, he's a prince, he has no responsibility, he has no worries, he's nischintya, so he can really love in a way that no other, even Krishna's own expansions, even his Vasudev form or any expansion of Krishna, they cannot truly love and be avesh, absorbed in that love like Krishna. So he's Nanda Suno. Kamala Nayana, his eyes are very beautiful like a lotus. Kamala is lotus and it's somewhat reddish. So Sri Krishna's eyes become reddish when he's been awake all night and when he's intoxicated from relishing the madhu, the honey of Radhika's brain. Then he is Kamalanayana Gopi Chandra. He's like the moon for the gopis, just as all rasa, all flavor comes from the moon. So he is the one who makes all gopis taste prema rasa. Vrindavan Indra. He is the Indra of the forest of Vrindavan. Pranata Karun. He is very, very kind and compassionate to those who bow down to him. And lastly, Krishna. Here Krishna means Krishna. Krishna, this is the best. Of all the names of Krishna, the name of Krishna is the best name. So may my love for these names increase every day. Then, we discussed this previously. Vacham vachakam mitudeti bhavato namasrupa dvayam purvasat parameva hantakarman tatrapi jinahi yastasmin vihita paradani vaha prani smantats bhavat senadan pasasopihi sadanandam buddho majjati. There's something peculiar about this verse. It says, it does not say, Krishna, you have two forms, your own swarup and the holy name. It says, oh Harinam, you have two forms, Vacha and Vachakam. So it's very, what kind of glorification is this? You will say, oh Krishna, your name is great. You say, no, Nam, your Krishna form is great. You understand the skill of Rupa Goswami, it's astonishing. So he's saying, Nama Swarupa Dvayam, the name has two swarups, Vacham and Vachakam. Vacha means that which is expressed, and Vachaka means the expression. So that the expression is the syllables, Krishna, and that which is expressed by the syllables, Vacha, is the swarupa of Krishna. So, though these two are two swarups of Nam Prabhu, but Purvasmat Pramaiva Hantakarnam, I think the previous one, the later one is superior to the previous one. So, that means Nam is more merciful than Krishna's direct swarup. Why? Because if someone commits offense to Krishna's swarup, by chanting Harinam, all those offenses go away, and then the name immerses you, plunges you into the ocean of Sevamrita. Now someone may say, the question may arise, that okay, if someone makes offense to Krishna's swarup, the name will forgive him. But what if someone has committed offenses to the name? Then what will he do? 10 offenses beginning with Satam Ninda, Namna Parama Paradam Vitanute, Itakyatimiyatam, Katamu Sateta Vigarham. Beginning with criticizing Vaishnavas, considering the demigods like Lord Shiva to be equal to Krishna, or seeing a difference between Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes, neglecting Guru, disrespecting Sri Guru. That means disrespecting Sri Guru is thinking that the body of Guru is made of 5 mature elements like mine. That's Namaparad. Why? Because the Nam, Shuddha Nam, destroys Parabdha Karma. So then the body of the person who's chanted Shuddha Nam, he has no material body. And so that person gives pure Nam. So if you think the Guru has a material body like yours, then that means he didn't chant pure Nam, he didn't give the pure name to you. Then how you will chant? So this is Guru Avagya. Guru Avagya, Suchi Shastra Nindanam, to criticize the Vedic scriptures, to think that the glories in the scriptures, like Varoti Veda, the Vedas have loudly said that even your Prarabdha karma is finished with the first syllable of the name, pure name. Whereas the yogis who are having darshan of Paramatma, their Prarabdha karma is not even one leaf on the tamarind tree, which has millions and millions of leaves. Not one leaf of their Prarabdha karma is removed by their deep and constant continuous meditation on Paramatma. So you think, oh, how can that be true? Or you hear from the Rig Veda, Om Asya Jananto Namachidviraktam Mahaste Vishnu Sumatim Bhajamahe Om Tat Sat. Oh my Lord, we don't know you, but how wonderful it is that simply by Akshar Abhyas, the repetition of syllables, you reveal yourself, and we will have very beautiful realization of you, because Om Tat Sat, the holy name, is self-manifesting, Swata Siddha, self-existent, Swayam Prakash, self-disclosing, illuminating. Someone said, oh no, it can't be that simple, just repeating the syllables. Then, Shuti Shastra Nindanam, criticizing Shastra, and Tadatavado Harinam Nikalpanam, it means to think that the glories of the holy name are an exaggeration. So just whispering a doubt in your heart about these glories and powers of the holy name, combined together, they become so many. It becomes offense to Guru because Gurudev told you this, but you don't believe it, and the Shastra is saying it, and then you're thinking the Shastra is exaggerating. So then you imagine different glories. So that's just having a doubt in that mantra of the Rig Veda is already 4 types of Namaparad. So the question comes, if by chanting the name you become free from offenses to Krishna's Swarup, but what if you made offense to Nam? Then what happens? So Rupa Goswami is answering that in the next verse. Sudita Srita Janati Rashae Ramyachit Gana Sukasarupine Nama Gokala Bahutsabhayate Krishna Purana Vapase Namo Namaha. Janati Rashae. That means persons who have great misery, great suffering. And that great is suffering which will not be removed without suffering it. Prarabdha karma even can be removed, but Namaparad cannot be removed without suffering it. Namabhas will remove all pap, so you don't have to taste it. But if you make Namaparad, you have to suffer it. So that's the greatest suffering. But Sudita Srita Janati Rashe Yachit Gana Sukasarupine, O Nam Prabhu, you are the condensed embodiment of conscious transcendental bliss. No Nam, Gokula Mahotsavaya. You are a great festival of joy for all the residents of Nandagaon, Varsana, all of Gokul. Krishna Purna Vapase Namo Namaha. You are the direct and complete body of Krishna himself. I bow down to you again and again, because Sudita Srita Janati Rashe, because you destroy the worst of all suffering, the reactions of Namaparad. So here Rupa Goswami is saying that not only does the holy name remove offenses made to the deity, but if one does avishranti, continuous service to the name, avishranti, without any rest, not resting, your whole life serving Nam, chanting and serving Nam, then Nam Prabhu, he'll also take away all offenses as well to himself. So it is said, Namaparada Yuktanam Nama Neva Harantigam. For those who chant continuously, then Nam Prabhu also takes away the reactions to himself. So then in the final verse, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad said, Narad Vinod's Jivana Sudomini Rashta Madhuri Puratam Kristanama Kamas Purame Rasane Rasena Sada. Oh, you who Narad Vinod's Jivana. Here, Narad Vina means Naradasya Vina, the Vina of Narad. Uds Jivana means Chaitayati. It makes his Vina come alive. The Vina, when Narad Muni chants the holy name, his Vina becomes alive and begins to play by itself. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a commentary on this verse also. Narad Muni Bhajai Bina Radhika Raman Name Namayamani Udita Hoy Bhakata Gita Sane Amiyadara Borishikana Shavana Jukadai Giya Bhakata Gana Sagani Nache Boriya Apanahiya Narad Muni Bhajai Bina Radhika Raman Name. When the devotee chants purely, then he can hear the strings of the Veena of Narad. And Nam Prabhu appears in the form of Radharaman. Ameyadara Varishigana. And then it's like Amrita, nectar is raining down from the sky. It's like a torrential rain of nectar. Pura, and everywhere becomes flooded. And it enters into the ear and overfills the heart, and all the devotees become dancing. Dancing, wildly dancing. So Narad Vinod's Jivana Sudurmi Niryasa Madhuri Pura. Madhuri Pura means, Pura means a flood. The holy name makes a flood of sweetness, Madhuri Pura. And that sweetness is the Sudha Urmi Niryas, the essence, Niryas, the essence of the Sudha Urmi. Sudha means Amrita, nectar, and Urmi means waves. So this is like a flood of sweetness, which is like an ocean of nectar, and it's not still, it's always moving. Always moving. That means in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are Sanchari bhavs, many waves rising and falling and crashing into each other and mixing together. So Krishna Nama Karna Kamam Spurame. Oh Krishna Nam, please fulfill my desire, manifest in my heart. And Rasane, and on my tongue, Rasena, along with Rasa, Prema Rasa. When? Sada, forever. So in this way, Rupa Goswami completes his wonderful, wonderful prayer to Nam Prabhu. So I say this prayer every day after doing Gayatri, pick up my mala and then Nikila Suti Mole Bhakmala Dutinera Dita. To take shelter of Harinam, following the moods of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. So one thing, this is the last class of this Nam Tattva festival. And we've spoken so many things about Nam Tattva, but still something is missing. What is that? Sri Jagannatha Pandit said, Asadu Sangha Bhai Krishna Nam Nai Hai Namakshara Bahirai Patu Nama Kabul Nai. That if one associates with the asadu, non-devotees, then the name will not come to him. And he'll be speaking, but Namakshara Bahirai, the external syllables of the name are not actually the name. The name is syllables, but not those syllables. Sometimes people think, no, the external syllables are not the name, so they think the name isn't the syllables. No, the name is syllables. It's just not those syllables. Those syllables which are coming from your Prakrita Pran, material Pran, which are manifested as a gun, a quality of Akash. You know, sound is everywhere. Sound is the quality of Akash. So space, Akash is everywhere, and in that space there's sound. So when Pran from your Mula Adha Chakra rises up and gather some power. You know, when you sing from down here, not from here. First it's a movement of pran, and then it moves, and then as the pran comes to the throat chakra, it becomes obstructed by the throat and the tongues and the teeth. And then that obstruction releases from the akash, which is everywhere, the quality of sound which is in the akash. Just like if you have a stone, so that's earth. So fire is present in earth. There's fire in a stone, right? Don't believe me? Just get two stones and strike them together, flames will jump out, right? Sparks will jump out. The fire is there. So just as the fire is present in stone, so similarly sound is in akash everywhere. And is the disturbance caused in the ether by the movement of pran, which causes the release of sound. So that material sound which is released from the material akash, that is called jadakash, that is not the holy name. So see Jagannath Bani saying Namakshara Bahirai, Bhakti Nama Kavanai, external syllables are not the name. But that person who has received mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas, when the aprakrita pran appears in the Muladhara chakra and rises up and becomes para, pasanti, magdima, and then vaikari, then this sound is not coming from jadakash, from the material space. It is coming from chidakash, from spiritual space. And that is Nam Prabhu. Nam Prabhu is the vibration coming from spiritual space, chidakash. So that manifestation of the aprakrita supernatural name from the chidakash, spiritual space, it will not happen if we associate with non-devotees. So asadu sangha by Krishna nam nahi hai, namakshara bahirai bhakti nama kabu nai. Kabu nama bas sada nama para. Generally, if we associate with non-devotees, then there will be occasionally kabu nama bas, some nama bas sometimes, but mainly sada nama parad, mainly all offenses. So yadi Krishna nam karibe sadhu sangha karo. If one wants to chant the pure name, you must do sadhu sangha. Jadi Krishna nam karibe sadhu sangha karo. So this is very important. Now, there is the pure name which will take one to Vaikuntha or even to Golok. That is the name on the path of Vaidhi Bhakti. If someone serves Radha and Krishna through Vaidhi Bhakti, then they can attain Golok. But that Golok is not the aim and objective of Gaudiya Vaishnavas.
That's Swakiya, right?
There is Aishwarya Gyan and Swakiya mood, yes. The Krishna Loka planet has 4 dhams in it. The outer effulgence, Vaibhav of that dham is called Golok, and Krishna is there, and the Vedas personified are praying to him, and there's Aishwarya Gyan, and there is a Swakiya, like as if Radha and Krishna are married there. They have a pastime of being married, and they're married there. So, but higher than that is, inside that is Dwarka Dham, where there's some sweetness on the basis of Aishwarya. And higher than that, inside that is Mathura, where sweetness is the basis, but mixed with Aishwarya. So there's Aishwarya, and then Madhurya Mishrit Aishwarya, then Aishwarya Mishrit Madhurya, and then in the center the center of that planet, that is called Braja, or Vrindavan, or Golok Vrindavan, or Gokul. So that place is Kevala Madhurya, extremely pure sweetness only, without any mood. Opulence is there, of course, but it's hidden by so much sweetness, and everyone has a natural Madhurya mood there. So there's no idea that Krishna is God. Even Krishna himself doesn't know that he's God. And there is the Parakiya mood. So Jaya Jaya Ujjwala Rasa, Sava Rasa Sa, Parakiya Bhave Johe, Brajete Pracha. This Parakiya mood is only in Braja. So if you worship Radha and Krishna, but in Vaidhi Bhakti, you can go to Golok, the outer, the Vaibhav of Braja. But to enter into Braja, then Sakali Jagati Mori Kori Vidhi Bhakti. Vidhi Bhakti Braja Bhav Paiti Nahi Shakti. Krishna said, so many people in the world, in the universe, they worship me on the path of Vaidhi Bhakti. But this Vaidhi Bhakti does not have the power to awaken the moods of Braja. So that is only possible by Raganuga Bhakti. So not only is Sadhu Sangha necessary, but one must associate with Braj Rasik Vaishnava. A Vaishnava who is relishing Braja Rasa. Otherwise, only hearing the guitar of Vaikuntha or the guitar of Krishna's opulence. Then the samskars will not come by which one can enter into Raganuga Bhakti. You see, our desires are based on our samskars, right? Our desires are based on our samskars. So Harinam, Nama Chintamani Krishna's. Harinam is Chintamani, fulfills all desires. So whatever samskars you have, when you chant Harinam, according to that desire, Nam will reciprocate with that. But when we associate with Braj Rasik Vaishnavas, their guitar is so sweet and so powerful, it gives the samskars of Braj Bhav. And then when we chant, then we desire that. To be related to Krishna with no knowledge at all that he is God. How he is very sweet and beautiful, son of Nanda and Yashoda, his Gopinath and his Radhakanta Radharaman, Madhishana Tatve Brajavipina, and he's the beloved of my Swami. So by hearing guitar, associating with pure Braj Rasik Vaishnavas, that sanskar will come, and then when you chant this Harinam Chintamani, this wish-fulfilling desire will fulfill all of those wishes. But without that type of high-level sadhu sangha, even the wishes will not come. We don't know what to wish for, actually. And this is why, actually there's a very nice pastime. Once there was a Pandit, Brahmin Pandit, very learned, and he was studying for many years in Kashi, Varanasi. He knew all the Upanishads and Vedas, but by good fortune, one day he came to Vrindavan. And there in Vrindavan, he met some Vaishnavas. And by their association, he became very fortunate and decided, oh, impersonalism is quite wrong. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he became a devotee. So because he was very learned, after some time, he was in Vrindavan now, and he was giving a class. And he was saying that Sri Krishna is the Advaya Gyan Paratattva. He is the supreme, non-dual, absolute truth. And Sri Krishna, he cannot be realized unless the heart is completely purified of all rajas and all tamas. Because he's pure, how can you realize the pure person if there is rajas and tamas in the heart? So unless and until your heart is free from all rajas and tamas, then you will not realize him. So then, one Rasik Vaishnava was there in the audience. And he heard this. And here is some fault in what he said. Some avyapti dosh, the defect of not covering the circumstance fully. Avyapti dosh. So what he said is partly true. It's true. You cannot enter into the pastimes of Sri Krishna, realize them, unless one is free from rajas and tamas. It's true. Tadara jastamo bhavas kamalabhadyasya cheta eta anavidam stitam satvai prasidati evam prasanamanaso bhagavat bhakti yogata bhagatat vijnanam. So Srimad Bhagavatam explains that mode of passion and ignorance goes away and then realization comes. So that part was true. But the thing is this, even if passion and ignorance go away and you become completely pure, still can't realize Krishna in Vrindavan. That was the fault. So what he said, it was true, but it wasn't enough. So one Rasik Vaishnava in the audience, he raised his hand and said, well, I say a comment. And because Rasik Vaishnavas, they're very poetic. So they speak in a very suggestive way, very alankaric way. Well, their words are all decorated with beautiful ornaments. So then that Vaishnava said, Harim mudishate rajobara purata sangayat yamumtama brajabamadrisham na parati prakatam drishaha suterapi. He said in poetry, this is a poem of Rupa Goswami actually, the evening time has come and the sky has become filled with the dust raised by the hooves of the cows. And the sun is setting, so the sky is becoming dark. And Braja Gopis now, they're very excited. Why? In the daytime, they felt so much separation from Krishna. But now, when they see the dust rising in the forest, it means Krishna's coming back to the village. The sun is going down. that means very soon we'll meet with Krishna. So they become very eager. So here Rupa Goswami is saying, Brajabhava Disham na parati pakata sava disha suterapi. Persons who know all the Vedas, then they don't know the nature of the love of gopis, and they cannot understand the loving pastimes between Krishna and the gopis, because these pastimes are covered by Raja, the rising of the dust, and Tama, the setting of the sun. So here he's saying two things, Raja and Tama. Even if you're free from the material Raja and Tama, then you will not, even those who know all the Vedas, they cannot realize the confidential pastimes of Radha Krishna. They're very secret. Even in the spiritual world, they're a secret. There. And those pastimes are covered by a special darkness. The darkness of night and the darkness of the dust raised by the hooves of the cows. So that in this way, he corrected that person. And basically he was saying that only having a pure heart will not mean you can enter into Raganuga Bhakti. Because Anarada Radha Padamboja Renum Manasritya Brindadavi Tatpatankam Asambasita Bhavaga Bira Chitan Kuta Sham Sindura Sasyavagaha. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pad said, where is the ocean of rasa? No one can find it. In which way to go to find the ocean of Shama rasa, Madhu rasa? Gopis love. They cannot find it unless and until they fulfill three conditions. Anuradha Radha Padamboja Renum. First of all, if you try to have a loving relationship with Krishna directly, you will fail. Like Mirabai. She tried to have direct relation to Krishna, and because of this, she ended up becoming a maidservant of the queens in Dwarka. So first thing, Anuradha Radha Padamboja Renum. You have to worship the dust of the lotus feet of Radhika. And by her mercy only one can attain Krishna's seva. Without Radhika's mercy, it's impossible. Then, Anasritya Brindadavi Tatpadankam. One must take shelter of Vrindavan, which is decorated with her footprints. And third condition, Asambasitad Bhava Gabbira Chitan. One should have the Sambad, conversation with those Braj Rasik Rupanuga Vaishnavas whose hearts are deeply immersed in Radhika Seva. And if these three conditions are met, then the samskars, the impressions will come, and then chanting Harinam without offense will fulfill those desires which have appeared in the heart by the blessings of pure Vaishnavas. Understand? Because, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one Brahmin wanted to read some poetry to him, but he did not have association of Rasik Vaishnavas. And so he'd written a poem that all the Siddhanta was wrong. So then, Swarup Damodar Goswami heard his poetry, and he thought, oh, he was disgusted. This, no. Rasa basa jadi hoi Siddhanta virod, sahite na pari prabhu mani hai krodh. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more humble than a blade of grass, trinadapi sunichena. But two things make him become angry that he cannot tolerate. Rasa basa jadi hoi Siddhanta virod. If there's rasa basa or apasiddhanta, Mahaprabhu cannot tolerate. So Swarup Damodar would screen everyone first to make sure that they would not disturb the heart of Mahaprabhu. So Swarup Damodar Goswami said to that Brahmin, Jaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavera Sthane Ekantara Saikoro Chaitanya Trani. Go and sit at the feet of a Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava. Be in the shelter of Mahaprabhu, sit at the feet of a Vaishnava and hear and study Bhagavatam under his guidance. Chaitanya era Bhakta Gana Nitya Karo Sangha Tabito Janibai Siddhanta Samudra Taranga. If daily you associate with the dear devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after that you will be able to enter into the waves in the ocean of Siddhanta. We might think that Siddhanta is like this fixed thing, but actually everything moves depending on your adhikar. As the adhikar goes higher and higher, the way everything looks changes. So it's said that there are waves in the ocean of Siddhanta. Only when the chitta is not clean, then the mind is jad. We have mental inertia, and there's a stiffness in our thinking. So that mental inertia and the stiffness of thinking, it makes it impossible to accommodate the actual nature of Siddhanta. So, he said, hear Bhagavatam from a Vaishnava. Why? Because Bhagavatam is full of bhakti rasa. There are so many beautiful moods there. But if we'll read it, but the mood will not come. Example is given that if you read it, you're cold. You're sitting in the house. I was freezing today. It was very cold in my room. And then Prabhu bought me a heater, so then I was okay. So let's say you're in a cold room and you're very cold. So then you read a book about a fire. Will you be warm? You cannot feel the heat from reading. So in the same way, the Srimad Bhagavatam is actually describing the blazing fire, the heat of separation of Braja Gopis. But by reading it, we will not feel that heat. But when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam from a pure Vaishnava who's feeling the heat of separation, then we can feel the heat of that. And then reading Bhagavatam, we can realize something. So Tatsrinvan Supatan Vicharanat Paro Bhaktya Vimuchandara means first hear it, and then Tatsrinvan Supatan, and then repeat what you have heard. Vicharana, and then do deep deliberation on it. Paro Bhaktya Vimuchandara, and then all the subjects of Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastimes of Krishna, awaken in the heart. Just like, it's getting late. Should I stop? Or should I tell a little bit more? It's up to you. You're the ones who have to drive home very far.
It's last night, you can...
Okay, just one or two drops. So when we're in Alachua, we're discussing Panchagit, 5 Gits of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But we ran out of time because we became lost in discussing Venu Git, Prana Git. We got to Gopi Git. We didn't come to Yugal Git. So I'll say a few words about Yugal Git. In Yugal Git, it's called Yugal Git because the verses are in pairs. Usually, if there's a verse, the meaning is completed in one verse. But these verses are in pairs, such that if you read the first verse, actually it's not a finished sentence. The meaning will be completed after 2 verses, so it's called Yugal Git. In this Yugal Git, gopis are in their homes, and Krishna is out in the forest, taking the cows to graze. They can hear him, sometimes playing the flute, and they speak to each other. They describe the reactions of the cows, of the river, of the birds, and so on. So then one may think, well, this sounds just like Venu Git, right? It sounds just like Venu Git. So you can be forgiven for thinking that. But actually it's not like Venu Git at all. It seems like that, but the bhav is something else. Very, very high. Why? In Venu Git, it is of Purva Rag. That means the love that gopis have before they had the chance to meet intimately with Sri Krishna. But then, when the Rasa Leela came, then gopis met very closely with Sri Krishna. Evam parisvanga karavimrishta snigdakchitu dham vilasahasai rame sho brajasundri vi yatava kasvat pratibimba vibramaha. In that Rasa Leela, Krishna was playing with Braj gopis, embracing them, glancing at them, smiling at them very beautifully. Rame sho brajasundri vi, and yatava kasvat pratibimba vibrama. He became like a child playing with his own reflection. This is very profound. One meaning is that if you put mirrors all around yourself, you see for how many mirrors there are, that's how many images there are of you. So in the same way, how many gopis were there in the Rasa Leela, that's how many Krishnas were there. So yatava swapratibimba vibrama. It was like a child playing with his own reflection. Another thing is that if you go on the street and you see a woman and you touch her, then the police will arrest you. Right? But, why? Because that's another person. But if you touch your own reflection, then this is your image. So there can be no lust. So in the same way, though it looks like Krishna is embracing Braj gopis here, Karabhimrishta means that he's putting his left arm around the gopis. And Tungavijra is playing Mridanga, and the other gopis are dancing. And Krishna is doing the tarikata like this, reaching over and doing ta-ta-ta-ta, playing the talam, the breast of Radhika for a joke. Then she's looking at him. snigdekti shuddha, and smiling and glancing at each other. Very beautiful pastimes are going on. But there's no lust at all in this. Because gopis are Krishna's own Swarup Shakti. The own energy of his Swarup has come out in the form of Braj gopis. So there's no difference. Radha Krishna aiti sada eki Swarup. Leela rasa aswadite dari dvarup. Radha Krishna are one Swarup, but they have two bodies for the sake of tasting the rasa of their Leela. So this is according to Siddhanta. But he is like a child playing with his reflection, because Krishna is dancing and gopis are dancing in the same way. Or gopis are dancing and then Krishna is doing the same move. Sometimes Krishna is singing and then gopis are replying. Sometimes gopis are singing and Krishna is replying. So they're mirroring each other as they sing and dance. Joy joy pyaro kare, soi mohi bhave, bhave mohi joy, soi soi kare pyari. Radhika was a very bhamyata, she has contrary mood. But now, Radhaya bhavatasta cheta jatuni sweda valapya kramat, yunjanadri nikunja kunjra pate niduta beda brahmam, chitraya swayamam varanjaya diha brahmanda hamyodare, bhuyo bi navaraga hingla barai singara kayukriti. It was the last verse Ramananda Rai taught to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about Radha Krishna's pastimes. Radha Krishna are meeting in a beautiful kunj at Govardhan. And Krishna is playing like the intoxicated king of elephants. That means the king of elephants, no, he can do whatever he likes. He's Swachanda. He can do whatever he likes. No one can stop him. So Krishna is playing and doing whatever he likes. And Radhika is also becomes like an intoxicated elephant. That means she's doing whatever she likes. Also. So Krishna is Nayaka. Nayaka means hero. But Naya means leading. So the Nayaka is the one who is leading the pastime. And Nayika is the one who is being led by the Nayaka. Naya means leading. Nayati, he leads. Oh, but when Radhika's contrary mood has melted away slowly, like wax melting, Chitta Jatuni, her heart is melting like wax, and all contrary mood is going away. Then she becomes submissive to Krishna and Krishna is submissive to her. And then the rasa is expanding unlimitedly. Praspara vasibhava atishaya. So Jojo pyaro kare, whatever my lover does, then that is pleasing to me. And whatever is pleasing to me, my lover does that. Because now, Nirdutta Veda Brahman, their two hearts have melted and become one. So Yatavaka Swapratibimba Vibhrama. They're playing like a child with his own reflection. It's also like a reflection. Why? Because if there's a mirror, you can see whether you're beautiful or not. So in the Rasalila, Sri Krishna can see, Gopis and Radhika are so beautiful. He's amazed. But when he meets in the kunj with Radhika, and then Radhika looks at him, Radhika is amazed seeing Krishna's beauty. So when Krishna sees the amazement in the eyes of Radhika, then this is like a mirror. Because Krishna thinks, oh, I know the gopis are very beautiful, but am I beautiful? I don't know. And then the way that Radhika looks at him, he says, oh yes, I'm also beautiful. So in this way, Radhika is like a mirror to Krishna, by which he understands, yes, I am beautiful. Because the beauty of Radhika makes Krishna become mad. But the beauty of Krishna makes Radhika become more mad than Krishna. Even. So Yatha Kaswapata Brahma Vibrama. After Radhika and Krishna, they've experienced this such union of their hearts. Then after Rasalila, when they go home, this separation that takes place after the Rasalila is 1,000,000 times more intense than the Purvarag of Venugita. Understand? So Yuga Gita chapter 35, Venugita chapter 21. So a person can feel separation when they're falling in love, but they've never met. But that separation have to be united by body, by mind, by heart, by pran, by soul. Every pore of the skin is united with every pore of the skin of Radhika. Radha and Krishna are united like this. So then after that, the separation is unbearable, intolerable. Now this Yugal Gita comes. In Venu Gita, the gopis are lamenting. Alas, alas, we are not fortunate. The deer are fortunate because they're going into the forest and they're meeting with Krishna, but we cannot go because we have to hide everything from our parents. But the mood in Yugala Gita is, oh, these deer are very fortunate, this river is very fortunate, these trees are very fortunate, and we'll also be very fortunate. We should go at once. The prema has become so high, it's uncontrollable. And this is why, after this chapter, Krishna kills Aristasur. And Shamakund and Radhakund are manifested. So not only are the gopis meet with Krishna at night for Rasa Leela, but Krishna arranges that they meet with him in the day also, Nadyan Leela. For Rasa Leela at Radhakund, in the daytime, only Radhika's group there. So the situation is such that after the Rasa Leela and gopis went home, then their lives became split into two. The daytime was the only burning in the fire of separation, praying in separation, and then every night they would go and meet with Krishna in Rasa. But then something astonishing happened to their bhav. That is, that in the daytime, in their separation, they would see Krishna, a spurti of Krishna. And they felt as if they were meeting with him. But then the next moment, that spurti would disappear. And their hearts were broken. That is called Vipralamba Vispurti. An intense experience of Krishna's presence which is indistinguishable from his actual presence, arising from Anurag. And when that spurti disappears and separation becomes double, then Braj Gopis, they become so bewildered. They think, oh, I was just meeting with Krishna, but then he disappeared. I wasn't really meeting with him. It was only a spurti. And then they remembered last night when they went through the Rasa Leela, and they thought, maybe that was a spurti as well. And I never went to the Rasa Leela. Maybe I'm going mad, and I've never even met with Krishna once in my life. It was all my own spurti. So the bhav has come so high. Now Krishna is desperate. I have to do something. I have to meet with them also in the day. So that stage of praying where the gopis even think that they have never met with Krishna. Then this Yugala Gita comes. Bama bahukita bama kapulo falgita bru adrapita venum kuhumalangulibir astamagam gopyari rayati yatra mukunda Vyoma Bana Banitasa Side. Like this. In this Yugala Gita, it reveals to us the whole day of the gopis. From the morning when Krishna leaves the village until the evening when he returns. So they speak about Jamuna and about cows 3 times. Because 3 times during the day, Krishna does with his cows the Gopan Lila, when the cows have to drink. They have to drink in the mid-morning, the cows drink again in the midday, and then again in the evening before they return. So actually, this Yugala Gita tells us that Astikalaya Lila, at least the daytime aspects of Astikalaya Lila, are revealed through the madness of Gopi separation in Yugala Gita. So they're saying, when Sri Krishna takes his flute, he places his left cheek on his right shoulder like this. See, because he's Tribanga. And he places the left cheek on the left shoulder like this, and then he offers the flute, puts the flute on his lips. And then, Komala Anguli Bir, he takes his very soft fingers. His fingers are so soft because he never did a day's work in his life. He's a prince, completely spoiled. And he takes those soft fingers and he places those soft fingers on his flute and he tips his head. And then just about when he's about to play, he looks at his cowherd friends, his suckers, and he moves his eyebrows just to say, wait till you hear this. And then he begins to play. And when he plays, Byohumapan Yana Vanita Sahaside. The demigods are in the sky, male and female, Devas and Devis are there in the sky. Why? They parked there last night. Remember yesterday I was saying when Krishna returns, so the Devatas listen to his ragas and they bow their head in shame, they can understand the raga and Tao, and they offer arti to him, and so Krishna's standing there is delayed, and that's why his mother's wondering, why is my son late? So Krishna enters into the Nandagaon, and then those wives of the demigods, they're fallen in love with Krishna. And the husbands, they're so embarrassed because they've also fallen in love with him. And they're thinking, if our wives see that we are attracted to him, then what will happen? Huh? So the demigods, they park in the sky at night because above Nandagaon, because they're feeling so much separation, they can't wait for him to come out again in the morning. So then when he comes out of the village in the morning with his cows and his friends, and then he takes his flute, looks at his friend, moves his eyebrows. Gita bru adara titavenu. Then all the demigoddesses and the demigods, they become stunned. They're having so many bars in their body that the cloth of the demigoddesses is the knots in their skirt and their underwear are coming undone automatically. And their braids are opening. People think that the demigods are showering flowers on Krishna. No, it's that the demigods' wives are so amorously incited by Krishna's flute playing that their braids become open, just thinking of him, and then the flowers fall from their hair, and that's the flowers falling from the sky. Okay, they do shower flowers also, but this is more, in Madhurya Ras, this is the idea. So then gopis are saying, oh, this flute is very bad. Very bad. Why? Because look how this flute is ordering Krishna around and making him serve her. That means Radhika is jealous of Krishna's flute. She's seeing that Krishna's flute is like another gopi, a naika, a heroine. And why is he kissing her, not kissing me? Just look at this flute. She's telling all the demigods, oh, you should play music for me. She's telling the Jamuna river, oh, turn round, because Jamuna was flowing this way, and when Krishna played his flutes, then the Jamuna turned around the other way and made whirlpools. So she's so bossy, telling the demigods what to do, telling the Jamuna what to do. She's telling Krishna what to do. Oh, Krishna, I want to relax. So then Krishna, he puts out his bottom lip, and she relaxes on his bottom lip. And then Krishna, then she says, oh, massage me. And then so Krishna gets his fingers and gives her a massage. So in this way, Radhika is becoming jealous of the flute. And why is she putting so much stress on him? He must be so heavy. Why? Hari Saki Arivenu Bar Bahulya Yukta Girivaragdara Topi Prakshaniya Sakibi Hariya Salanga Sigiri Dharanepi Yadikila Kalavenu Sandito Bakrimapa. Radhika says, oh Saki, this flute is so bad. He's very, very heavy and putting stress on Krishna. You know what? Look. When Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, the mountain, he was standing up straight. But when he lifts his flute, he becomes Tribhanga, crooked. So she's putting so much stress on him. It's very bad. So just as a heroine becomes jealous of another heroine, here in the Yugala Gita, Radhika is criticizing the flute. This is one of the symptoms of Madanakya Mahabhav. So Madanakya Mahabhav, actually it only takes place in meeting. But Sarva Bhavut Gamolasi Madano Yam Parat Paraha Ladini Rajate Ladini Saro Radayam Eva Yasada. Madanakya Mahabhav is always in Radharani, always. But it is always Antaprakash shining inside, and sometimes it becomes Bahyapakash. It starts to manifest outside. But it only manifests fully outside in meeting with Krishna. But sometimes in separation, Radhika is in Mohanakya Mahabhav, and a little bit of Madan can touch it. That is called Madana Angsa Sparshi Mohanakya Mahabhav. The Mohan separation mood, which is touched by a little Madan. So this is manifesting here. Because one of the symptoms of Madanakya Mahabhav is becoming jealous of anything who has the the good fortune to be close to Krishna. Braj Gopis, they're living in their homes and they're trying to hide their feelings. But now the prema has become so intense, so it must overflow. And others will begin to notice and have suspicion about them. So it said, Ker kun kasi kushi vai priti madupan, Rahiman rokina roki jana sakala jahan. Ker kun kasi kushi vai priti madupan. There are 7 things that you cannot hide. First thing, if you care about someone but you pretend you don't, but by seeing your behavior, then someone will figure out, oh, you have some attachment for that person. Ker kun means blood. If you kill someone, for many years you may escape, but one day someone will discover and they'll catch you. Ker kun kasi. Kasi means coughing. If a person they're pretending to be healthy, but they're sick, but their cough will come out and it will reveal their situation. So ker kun kasi kushi var enmity. You may pretend to be the friend of someone, but if you have enmity in your heart, after some time they'll notice it. Pretty love. If you're in love with someone, but you're hiding it, you'll be found out. And madupan means intoxication. If you're smoking ganja, or if you're taking alcohol or anything, you can pretend you are not, but you will be discovered. So kerkun kasi kushi vai priti madupan, Rahiman rokina rakib jana sakala jan. One day everyone will know. So in the same way, the prema of the gopis, they're trying to hide it. But now it's becoming so strong. Now it's coming out in Yoga Gita. It becomes a very desperate situation. This is ultimately why Krishna, being afraid that there would be a scandal and it would be a very difficult situation, Yogamaya understood his heart and inspired Kamsamaraj to send Akrura. And then Akrura came to Vrindavan and took Krishna away, so that they would meet with him in separation and no one would suspect that they were meeting with him. So, this is a Yugal Gita. Braj Gopis are saying, oh, criticizing the flute. This flute is so bad. Why? Because he's telling us, give up Dharma, give up Dharma. Lord Brahma, the Vedas explaining Dharma have come from 4 mouths of Lord Brahma. But you know, it's the nature of the ordinary persons that they don't think so much for themselves. What everyone says, vox populi, what is the opinion of people in society, they think this must be right because everyone says so. So Gopis say, we are very simple, like that. So Brahma has spoken 4 Vedas from 4 mouths. But this flute has 8 mouths. And from 8 mouths he's saying, give up your Dharma, give up your Dharma. So we have to do it. So in Venu Gita they're hiding. But here in Yugal Gita, they're trying to hide but they cannot anymore because the prema is too intense and their determination, we should just go to Krishna at once. Gopis say, you know, that in ancient times, in the Puranas, it is said in the Puranas, we have heard from Purnamasi Devi, in ancient times there was a king. He was very wicked. When he was a boy, he used to kill his playmates for fun. And then when he grew up and he became the king, he said, alright, that's it. No more religion for anyone. Na yastavyam, na datavyam, na hutavyam, dvija kochit. Itinya varnad dharma, beri goshin sarvashaha. He told his servants, beat kettle drums everywhere and announce, no more yagyas, no more charity, no more oblations of ghee. All dharma should be stopped. It was very wicked. So then the Brahmanas, what did they do? The Brahmanas said, we have to get rid of this person. So then by mantra they killed him and he died. So Gopis are saying, then in his next life, he was still wicked. He became even more wicked and more against Dharma in his next life. But due to embarrassment from the previous life, he changed his name. In his previous life, his name was Vena, Vena Maharaj. And in this life, he changed his name to Venu.
Oh.
And he's now singing everywhere. Oh, don't follow Dharma, give up your Dharma. It's the same because you don't change from one night to the next. The samskaras go with you. So gopis are criticizing Krishna's flute so much. Like this. So these are the bhavs of Srimad Bhagavatam. Without the association of Braj-Rasik Vaishnavas, it is not possible to enter into them and realize them. So see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he taught Sanatana Goswami Pad. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mool Hoy Sadhu Sangha. Prema Bhakti Janme Teno Punar Mukya Anga. The root cause of Krishna Bhakti is Sadhu Sangha. And even when a person attains prema, still Sadhu Sangha is the main cause of progress. Why? Prema, Sneha, Man, Pranaya, Rag, Anurag. Prema is not the end, prema is the beginning. So Sadhu Sangha is necessary all the time, by which we can feel the heat of the bhavs which are there in Srimad Bhagavatam and develop the samskars, and then when the person chants Harinam, that Harinam will take him to Braja. Parakiya bhave ati rasara ulas Braja bina ihara anyatra nahibas. The highest joy is in the Parakiya rasa, and it is not to be found anywhere, only in Braja. And that Braj can only be attained by Raganuga Bhakti. And that Raganuga Bhakti is Rag Anuga, Anugatyamai, under guidance. Yeah. So in this way, we complete our Katha on the glories of the holy name for this year. Sri Harinam Prabhu Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande.
Sadhu.